Hello everyone, in this video I am going to show you how to draw Nyanthara digital art in the app IBIS Paint Text. So if you haven't seen the part 1 video, please check on my YouTube channel, and this is the part 2 video, and in this video I am going to show you how to color and add highlight the shadow to the art. So basically I have created the outline for this for a person in part 1 video, and then in the part 2 video I'm going to show how to color it. So I have created a new layer below the outline layer. Already I have two layers, one the background a Nyanthara photo layer to trace for tracing purpose, and another in another layer I have imported the same image but in the small size, just to have color reference. So first I have created the new layer below the outline layer. I'm just keeping the outline layer above. So then I'm going to choose the particular skin color which is not too bright, not too dull. I'm just selected from that photo itself. So I have to choose like medium skin color which is not too bright or dull. So then we have to trace, just like we have traced you for the outline. Just trace the shape and then fill the same color on it, and all this coloring process gonna happen in the same layer itself. Then I will create a new layer for highlight and the shadow. So in this layer which is below the outline layer, I'm just going to add color for everything. To choose color, use the color picker tool and choose the color from the photo as a reference, and then just trace. And for this I used the brush felt tip pen hard. So I'm just going to use this brush for the entire layer. So then now I'm adding color to the dress. So just trace like this. Wherever you have the same color, just connect them all together. And now for the hair, I'm not using the black color, I'm just using the something above black, like a gray color, not too gray, so almost near black, something like that, just because we can have more details on it. If I'm using jet black color and then I'm going to add any shadow to it, it will not show you any shadow. That's why I'm going to use gray color for this hair. And while using the shadow layer, I'm just going to add the shadow effect using dark color, so it will show some variation in hair colors. So now the basic color is almost ready. Here you can see it is almost ready. And for the eyes, I'm going to choose the color from that image itself, and using the same brush felt tip and hard, I'm just coloring the eye part. And then for the lips, something like a cherry reddish color, I'm just tracing below. Make sure you didn't trace outside of the shape, because already we have the outline layer. Whatever if we made like something outside of that trace shape, it will become clumsy. So make sure you just make lines exactly below the outline lines, so it will look perfect. And here for this image, Nyanthara didn't show off her teeth fully, so the shade of lipstick almost visible on the teeth. So we can say like it is not a clear teeth appearance. So for that sake, I am just created the teeth like look, and then using the air brush, I just sprayed off that lipstick color over it just to make it look like the same. So now I have created a new layer and made its blending mode as add, because if you want to add a highlight to the image, you want to use the add layer. So I'm just use the add layer, and then using the color picker tool, I just chosen the some brightest, almost brightest skin color visible on that image for that skin. So I just chosen like that, and then using the airbrush, first I used airbrush brush, and then used airbrush trapezoid 60% brush to get that clear view. You can see how I made that. Instead of telling, you can clearly understand by just seeing how I'm making that. You each time just make a reference using the image. That's why I added the image reference in a small size at the top, so that we don't need to hide and on the layer for each time reference. So you can see that at the left side she have maximum of highlights like bright light shade, and at the right side she have that dark shadow effect. So making that sure you do like that same. So in the left side I'm adding so much of details, shadows, and for Nyanthara, her between nose and lips there will be some shape details, which is very important for her features. So I'm making sure I do that. You can see that between nose and lips you can see that highlights with some dip in between, near the mole, something like that. And I think I have added more shadow to the right now, but I will make sure I will correct it while I'm using the shadow layer, which is I will use the linear burn blending mode for that, the shadow layer. So here you can see the highlights, some of light highlights on her neck, her hands, everything. So now I'm going to add highlight details to her hair. So for that I'm using a hair brush, and make sure you use the force fade on, especially when you use this highlight, and you have to keep the opacity of the brush as low as possible while you are using the add blending mode layer, because usually the add blending mode layer gives so much brightness. To avoid too much highlight look, too much highlights usually collapse the art. So for that sake, just reduce the airbrush, any brush, its opacity, reduce its opacity, and also reduce the layer opacity to 50%. So now I'm adding details to the dress. So for the saree and blouse I'm adding details. You can see how I added details on her hands, lips, everything is important. So now I created new layer with the blending mode linear burn. This blending mode is to add shadow effect. You don't need to add particular color shadow for each part, like for skin, for dress, everything is different color, and for each one you don't need to select different darker shades of that color to add the highlights. Instead of that, you can use this linear burn blending mode layer and use something like a tinted purplish something like shade, so you'll get that shadow details all at one using just one color. So here you can see for hair I used hair brush and then hair light brush to add the details, and now I'm adding the details, shadow details to the skin using airbrush tool. And you can see here also for the shadow layer also I have kept that brush opacity almost to the minimum, just because too much of opacity will damage the layer, since we are not going to add the main base for this highlight. Everything is highlight, shadow is just an extra details. If you add too much color to it, it will collapse, spoil it. So I'm just adding the details with the reduced opacity almost to the minimum. For this layer also, I'm going to keep it the opacity of the layer to half, like around 50%. So now I'm adding details to the nose, and with the increasing the brush size, I will add big stroke of shadow to the entire right side of the art. So here you can see I'm adding a little bit of details to the saree dress, and for near the ears, since it is under the hair, so I'm adding some darkness to it. And here near the teeth, I already have told that teeth is not that much visible here, like it is like a almost shadow effect, so I just added a shadow effect to that. Now since I need some more hair details, I created the new layer above this layer and outline layer. So I'm just adding hair details to it, since I'm not doing the hair details in the outline layer. I just created new layer. So again, I need like some darkness have to be there for her eyes. For her eyes, it like almost dark shades. Usually she do such makeup, so I'm making sure I'll add some darkness around her eyes and near nose, to make sure her face features are visible, like something like when we smile we have that shadow like effect. So I'm doing all those things, and so this is the look. Now I forgot the earrings, so I'm just adding the brownish color for that earring. I doing this on the base color layer, so adding the color and white color within. Then I'm going to add highlight details using the add blending mode layer, like where we added the all highlights. So I'm adding the highlight details. I'm okay with this. Now so again, I feel like something missing near her ears, so I'm just going to outline layer and then adding some details using that the pen, and adding shadow effect again in the linear burn blending mode layer. So now I'm going to create the folder and add all the layers that I used for that Nyanthara in one folder. Then I'm going to create a new layer below that, and using the felt tip pen hard and circle tool, I'm just creating a circle to create a circle like a look around background in behind. So then adding some mild color to it, and I feel like something is missing, so I just moved the entire folder of that Nyanthara to below, and now I made that folder as a clipping layer of that circle. So you can see now the Nyanthara folder is clipped below this clipped to this circle. So this is the final look. You can see I have saved this, and I hope you like this. If you like my tutorials, please subscribe to my channel and support me. Thank you. More art tutorials are waiting.